W3MMR with W2PHL. Okay, yeah, real good. Just trying to get this thing, pulling up my logbook. Well, I'm interested to know if I would imagine that you already tried opening up some stuff there to see if it would shut down on you, and I'm guessing that everything's been okay so far. But that's weird with the CPU percentage being up so high, being double what it was. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. But just running about 150 watts of carrier, fully modulated. So, you know, about 125% on my peaks. So everything is working good. I don't, you know, there's no difference between 150 and 200 watts of carrier, so there's no reason to, you know, I don't want to push it. Everything works good here where I have it, and it seems to be working great. So yeah, I don't know if you know what I'm running for an antenna, but I'm using my doublet, my 125 foot 600 ohm ladder line fed doublet that I use on 75 here, hooked up as a long wire. So I have both feeders shorted out and run together, and I have about 100 feet of feed line, maybe a little more. And the apex of this antenna is up about 60 feet, so basically it's a vertical with a big capacitance hat. And I started out with 4 ground radials yesterday, and I went out there today and added 6 more big, you know, real nice long ground radials today. And it seems to be a little more an improvement. It did something because it changed, my tuner settings changed here, so it had some sort of an effect. And my father said it may have had an effect on transmit yesterday, is you know, so or earlier today, a gain over what I was doing yesterday. So that's a plus. And last night here up on 1890, there was a big group, and everybody on 75 was here. It was me, Billy, Clark, Chris, JBL. I think Bob, KBW was in there for a little while. Dave, W2VW was in there. I mean, it was all the regulars were here last night, so I'd imagine people are going to start popping in, you know, as time goes by. I think Chris got in here around 7 last night, but no, it was just the normal crew. It's like just like we all just scooted down, you know, in frequency, so 2 megahertz. So everybody sounded great. I could hear everybody. Everybody could hear me, and I'm glad you're getting used out of that dipole, Pop. You know, it's been up there for so long. I never heard you ever talking about being on 160, so hopefully you can give that thing a workout and warm it up a little bit. Back up to you, Phil. W2PHL, W3MMR.
All right, Terry, good deal. W2MMR, W2SDR, W2PHL. Well, now I'm not even hearing myself at K3FEF. That goes to show you how things are moving around here. Hopefully you guys are still hearing me. Perry, you came up and down a little bit. Heard you briefly on my receiver, but I heard you 100% on K3FES. So using that as a crutch at the moment. And Frank, you were like 20 over. When I take off the attenuation, you know, I experimented with shorting out the, like you did at Perry, and I found it to be more effective feeding it just as a short dipole. And basically what I did is I've got a tuning network that's wired pretty much just like the Johnson kilowatt matchbox, only I'm using a much bigger coil. It's an edge wound coil, you know, broadcast quality, big honking inductor, and that gives me the extra impedance I need to match the short dipole. And I'm doing it that way, and I found that it seems to be anyway more manageable. But you probably don't even have the hardware to try that experiment out with. So yeah, yeah, it's working.
W2SDR think it's great that you guys are even attempting to be a 160. You know, this is a fun band now that it's wintertime. It's a fun band to experiment with antennas and get the most out that you can get out. If you can't have the wherewithal to put up a full-size antenna. So there's a lot of experimenting to be done. And Perry, I'm very interested in what that antenna, because basically it's a vertical with a capacitance hat, what that's going to do for DX. And Dave had a good point the other night, VW, with FT8 on 160. You know, like late at night or early in the morning when you first get up. Because that thing may really kick butt on DX. Where I would have a disadvantage being it's essentially a low dipole, horizontally polarized, going straight up. That for far out signals you would have the advantage on for DX. I worked Ecuador on 160, which was a big deal for me. I know a guy that used to check in with us on 4745, Dave. What's his call? HG5DX? HC5DX. In Ecuador on 160 on sideband. So that was a good shot. But yeah, it's fun, man. So it's a whole new. Every band, you know, has got its own personality, which is what makes this hobby so great. Every band has got its own particular personality and its own conditions. It's really cool. Okay, back to you, Perry. And I might not be. I'll try to be back by the next round, but I have to run down the hall here. But I'll be listening. So if I'm not back by the next round, just continue to go around, and I'll let you know when I'm back. W3MMR, W2SDR, the group.
Yeah, W2SDR, W3MMR. All right, go do what you got to do. And you're 30, 35 over that go around there, so that your setup over there is working good. And I remember Dave mentioning that. I just haven't, got around to. I would like to try FT8 out and do some DXing with this antenna. It's just, I still got plenty of time with it. It's only been up for 2 days, where I really only got it set up here for the past 2 days. So, it seems to be doing something. Which is a good thing. Nothing is getting hot, and the match isn't shooting up. People can hear me. I can hear others. And Phil, I heard you 100% that last go around. There's a lot of selective fading in QSB because I'm vertically polarized, but I could copy everything 100%. That's one thing I did notice about 160. There's a lot more fading. And it's not just, I don't think it's just me because I'm vertically polarized. I've noticed that with Mike's receiver, with his WebSDR on 160. And what was weird was when you were fading out here, I was watching your signal on his WebSDR. You were coming up on his WebSDR as you were fading here. So it's pretty cool how that propagation works like that. I guess over distance is how it changes, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I'd be interested to try this thing out in DX and see how it works. But so you said Phil, you added a big edge wound coil, a big edge wound inductor. Now is that because your tuner won't tune the antenna without it? Or what? Because I know, like with my 10-tech tuner, I can't tune my antenna on 160 without with that tuner. But with this tuner, this MFJ 989, this T-Network tuner, I can tune this doublet. Normally hooked up as a short dipole, it will tune here on 160. but I never tried it that way. So I'm interested to know about that coil you got there. And I know Rob does fairly well. I don't know if you heard him and Clark talking about the setup that Clark helped him out with, but he's got a bunch of loading coils outside, a big loading coil outside, in like a weatherproof box that he switches in. And uses, as essentially as a short dipole as well on 160. But it's working, Phil. I can hear you without a problem, man. And it's great to be able to get on another band here when the band goes long. Especially because I don't get off of work till 6 o'clock on my days that I'm working. So the band's already long by the time I get home. So this is great for me. Back up to you, Phil. W2PHL, W3MMR.
Yeah, you faded out at the end there, Perry. Let me just make sure you're not transmitting. Yeah. I copied the volume. It's basically a copy of the Dr. Matchbox. There goes the sound. Well, it's that time of the night. Yep. I got it. SDR is back, and hopefully I'll be back. But great hearing you guys this evening. W2PHL.
Yeah, no problem, Phil. Great hearing you, and I'll stand by until the old man gets back there. W3MMR on 160 meters. Meters.
W2SDR. I'm back.
Yeah, no problem. What's going on?
Trying to figure out my foot switch wasn't working here for a minute. Nothing much. Just had to do what I got to do. Okay, stand by a second, okay?
Yep, I'm not going anywhere. W3MMR.
Perry, Frank, listen, I'm going to sign out. We're going to run out for dinner, so that's our last minute thing to do here. So, good for hearing you guys. Thanks for my understanding. And stay brief now for Troy W2PHL.
No problem, Phil. Great hearing you. Catch you later, man. W2PHL 73 from W3MMR.
Yeah, 73, Phil, we'll see you later. And, yeah, I just got a text. There's a guy in Adelaide, Australia, that says he's got a real good copy on you down there, Perry. Over.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he said his software shut down on his radio, though. He's using some kind of alpha software. And it's, you know. How about my CPU percentage going way up? I started from scratch. New wisdom file, everything.
Did you try restarting your computer just for the hell of it?
What do you mean restarting the computer?
Just when you were done installing it, did you shut the computer down and start it back up to see if the CPU percentage changed?
I think I did. I don't know. I'm done messing with it, though. All I want to do is be able to talk. If this thing screws up, I'm going over to the FT101. I know that's going to work.
Let's go back to 3.4.9.
I'm going to go back to 1.1.1.
Hey, 001.
But you there on 160. A lot of people laugh when I tell them to put the antennas together like that. Tie them two wires together. Sucker works, man. I did that for the first time 35, 40 years ago.
It works, man. And it seems to be working good, too. Because I'm coming into the WebSDR, K3FES WebSDR just fine up there. Phil can hear me pretty good, you know. He's got a really high noise level where he lives. This is, I think, worse than mine here. You know, and the guys were hearing me all night last night. You know, I can hear everybody. I heard 100% of what Phil was saying. I could hear you like a champ. You know, it's great. It's really, I'm very, very happy, very satisfied with it.
Well, I'm happy. I'm happy for that.
I'd like to load up the 100, the DX100 on here and see how that does. Uh-oh. I think it blew up.
Who, me?
Oh, I thought it shut down on you.
Oh, wait a second. Yeah, I'm back. Well, you'll notice no QSB on verticals. That's always the case, especially on lower frequencies. There'll always be a little bit more QSB. And it's not unusual if you're listening to somebody at the same time that's horizontally polarized, that when you go into a fade, the horizontal will come up at the same time.
I gotcha. Well, I was noticing with the WebSDR, like when Phil was fading here, he was coming up on Mike's WebSDR and vice versa. It was weird. It was cool. And I know he's using a horizontal up that way.
Yeah, well, just all conditions and different bands or different things. But we'll see what happens. It's all fun to play with, for sure. So, fortunately, I'm really glad these transmit profiles are importable. Because they're a pain in the ass when you want to start from scratch as those transmit profiles. I know you can take a lot of pictures of the menus, but it's just really good that you could just move them right over,
Yeah, absolutely. And I like, you can take as many pictures as you want. Sometimes it seems like it's not the same, I don't know why, but it just does. Then it's really nice to just get it in there and go boop boop, save the one and import the other, or save it, then import it back into the new software there. So, well, I'm glad it's working for you so far. It's just weird with that CPU percentage. Hopefully, when you wake up in the morning, you shut it down, the night come in the morning, everything's back to normal.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with it. See if it hangs in there. Yeah, boy. So, let me see, 47 degrees. I changed all the batteries in these thermometers. I guess the signal is so weak for the... Do you have any trouble with your clocks updating?
On what? The computer and stuff, or like atomic clock?
No, the atomic clocks. I get a crappy signal here. A lot of times I got to sit them outside on the front porch for them to correct themselves.
I don't have one, unfortunately. I want one. I just don't know where to buy one.
I thought your weather station was atomic.
No. I gotta set that, but I can't find my manual to set the damn thing, because it's really, you have to press like 3 buttons at once to get into the clock menu, and I can't remember how to do it, and I can't find a manual online, and I can't find my manual for it, so it's still an hour fast.
You got it from Amazon, right?
Yeah.
I bet you can look it up on there, contact the manufacturer, and get that, how the seller or what. I'd give that a try. What the hell? It doesn't cost anything. But mine don't pick up the signal. The one down here in the shack, it used to, but now I got to put it out on the front porch, and the one upstairs kind of messed up a little bit too. It's just the WVB signal or whatever. It's only 60 kilohertz. It's just so damn weak.
I remember that. You've had that clock forever, and I remember you having to do that before, having to sit it outside. It's creepy when that thing starts out there, you start swinging around.
You're still coming in good. I wonder where all the guys are at tonight.
I don't know. Maybe it is only 6 o'clock, so last night I guess it was probably 7:30 when everybody was in here. So it was definitely a little bit later. But I'm tired, man. I don't know how much more operating I'm going to be doing. I'm beat.
Yeah, well, that's right. When you take advantage of these days, you did a lot of work for everything. And you're all set up now. Now, what are you going to do? Can people trip over them wires? What are you going to do with those wires out there?
If you walk through the yard, you can. I gotta get some. I'm gonna. Speaking of which, I gotta order some of them lawn staples. What are they called? Lawn staples?
Landscaping staples. They have them at Home Depot and Lowe's. I don't know about Lowe's. I bought them at Home Depot. I'm sure they have them a lot of different places.
I need those because it's not like they're not laid on the sidewalk or anything. You'd have to walk through the yard to kick them, you know what I mean? But I took them and I laid them out, stretched them out, and I buried the ends in the ground so they're not just like flopping around, you know what I mean? I buried the ends in the ground, so I just got to staple them down. I'm going to look them up, see if I could order them on Amazon. Because if I order them tonight, I should be able to get them here by tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just looking them up now. Yeah, here they are. They're not cheap, but I guess you can get them. Here's 100 6-inch ones for $13.
I'm looking at the same ones. They say like 100 pieces, sharp. Oasis lawn.
This says My Fit, 100X 6-inch galvanized ground garden grass stakes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I might be looking at the same ones here. Here's 75 of them for $6. 100 for $10. Here we go. Perfect Plants, landscape staples, made in the U.S. of A. $10. Free 1-day shipping. Will be here tomorrow.
Oh, that's cool. No, then you don't have to bother going and get them.
And 100 of them should be enough. Man, this thing's working, man. I'm happy. Happy.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. That's a godsend for you with this long band this time of year. Are you working and stuff? That's great. Now, man, I'll tell you, you've come such a long way since you had your license. I mean, look at what you've done in this short period of time. Not only getting your license and then upgrading it, but, you know, getting into the SDR stuff, knowing all about that, fetus, restoring all those old tube radios, you know, having these antennas that work on all these bands. I mean, that is quite an accomplishment. You should be on the cover of, like, QST.
Yeah, right. Speaking of cover of QST, I got the new one today in the mail. I haven't looked through it yet, but I did get it in the mail here today. Since I'm an ARRL member now. You know, and I just printed out my ARRL membership card. I've had it for like a month, but whenever I signed up, I didn't know they sent it to me in my email. I thought I was going to get it in the mail, but it was in my email. But I need a color printer to print out the actual certificate of membership. 'Cause it's like a nice little certificate. I like to kind of put it on the wall. But I don't have well, I have a color printer, but my printer's messed up, and I bought color ink for it, but I need black ink as well. I don't have any black ink. And then I messed something up trying to put the damn color ink in it, so I haven't messed with it in a while, but it's upstairs. It's a nice printer. It's a Canon printer. It's nice. It just, I don't know what I did. I screwed something up. Man, you were 30 over 9 that last transmission. No, I wasn't.
You were. Man. 30 over 9. Before I forget, are Ed and Betsy back there? They're pretty much back together, right?
Looks that way, doesn't it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I'd say so. Judging by some of the posts and lovey-dovey crap I've seen on Facebook, then I would say yes. He messaged me the other day. He's got an engine for a Ford Focus, because Mobile's, where he works over there, I guess Paulsboro or whatever, the mobile plant is shutting down. And they're like cleaning out warehouses, and gave him a brand new engine, a 4-cylinder Ford 2.0 engine for a Ford Focus, and was asking if I knew anybody who would buy it. And he said he'd give me a cut if I could find somebody, to buy it. I think it's brand spanking new in the crate.
What is?
Ed Bancroft got a motor, the mobile plant he works at, the mobile, over where Brian used to work with him, in Paulsboro or whatever. They're shutting down, and they're cleaning out one of the warehouses, and gave him a brand new 4-cylinder Ford engine for a Ford Focus, brand new in the crate, and they were going to throw it in the dumpster. So he took it and asked me if I knew anybody who needed one, or if I could get rid of it. And he said he would give me a cut if I could find somebody who needed it.
Whoa, yeah, now you're talking. What do you think something like that's worth? About $1,500?
Well, to buy that engine as it sits, say from Ford, would be like $3,000 or $4,000. Okay, but just trying to get rid of it, something like that, I could probably get $2,000 for it.
That guy on 1880, man, on the pan adapter, he's a sidebander. You can tell by the line. He has got so much bass. You could probably understand him perfectly on AM.
Yeah, he's real wide too. He's almost like 4 kilohertz wide. There's some guys on here that those guys on 1880 are the same guys that are on 3844 on 80 meters. They run really wide. They run super bassy. They're all running the non-8000s. Real super compressed audio, lots of reverb.
Yeah, I know. There's not my type, but takes all kinds, I guess. But I don't go up above 3885. My radio will not go above that. Over.
I hear you. You have two frequencies, 3745 or 3885, or 3873 every now and then. But yeah, it takes all kinds, man. It's a hobby of many personalities. I've come to find that out pretty fast. But no, they seem like a nice group of guys. They're big. They talk a lot about a lot of politics. They're big Trump supporters and stuff. I've listened in every now and then. And I was on here the other night. I was listening to him on the NC303. I was just checking to see if it worked on 160, and that thing is dead nuts on frequency on 162. Now the alignment is spot on that thing, man, to the slide rule. I mean, it's dead on with that thing. And I think maybe tomorrow night I'll try loading up the DX100 on here and see how it does. I've only ever used it on 75 meters, so I'd be interested to see how it does here. It'll probably end up blowing up. What'd you say we doubled? Holding on. W3MMR.
W2SDR. I hear a station out there in Taiwan. You got a copy on W2SDR in Taiwan? Over.
My noise floor here is about a little over an S9 on signal average, so it's not that much higher than it is on 80 meters there. So it's about maybe 5 dB higher at the most there. So it's pretty. Everything's working great. I'm super happy.
What do you mean W3MMR is louder than me? Come back again with that?
Yeah, shut up. So Dixon called you earlier?
Yeah, he Facebook timed me. So we had a nice conversation for about 10 or 15 minutes. I'll tell you, man, that kid is so smart. He is really, really sharp.
Oh, he doesn't seem like he's in second grade. It's crazy. You know, but I have to remind myself that he's only in second grade. Like, actively remind myself of it, just because of the way he talks and what the things he knows about is, you know, the way he's able to hold a conversation. You know, like I literally will sit there for 45 minutes or an hour holding a conversation with him on the phone. You know, there's not too many 8-year-olds you can do that with.
Son there. I mean, really. Oh, I got a picture that I want to send you. You got your phone?
Yeah, I got it. Send it on over. Yeah, they do a review of the new DX 101 in here. The new QST. I got a couple filters for these fans, these 120 millimeter fans. You know, I got the one on the outside of the amplifier here, and they're metal. They're not like they don't have like that foam or fiber, you know, material in it, so they're washable. I got really good reviews on Amazon, so they're like reusable. So I put it on there to hopefully keep the dust out. Oh, what we got here? I got a picture. Let me see. What's this here? Look at that corn dog.
Yeah, there you go. That was a Facebook picture. You know, I know you don't look at those, so I got it. I figured I'd send it on over.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I'm not friends with her on Facebook. I don't feel like we're seeing half of that crap. But I talked to her. I talked to her for 45 minutes on the phone this morning, and I talked to her for like 3 times in the past week on the phone in the morning. She's been calling me on her way to school, I guess. She's sitting in traffic, just talking about Dixon, you know, all that crap. But she's still in school and trying to finish up, I guess, school. And I don't even know. I forget what she's going to school for now. Some medical thing. But I don't know. She's looking into getting a house with her new boyfriend, and he seems like a pretty nice guy. He treats Dixon well, so it's all I can really ask for. Dixon likes him, so I guess I like him if Dixon likes him. I never met the guy or talked to him or anything like that, but his hair's getting long. He needs a damn haircut.
Yeah, I don't go for that real long hair on kids. You know, doesn't look too bad in that picture. He didn't look too bad in the FaceTime. But I don't go for too much that long hair stuff on kids. But yeah, it's it's a tough situation. You know, you're more mature than I am in a lot of ways with that boyfriend stuff and stuff. I don't deal with that stuff well.
Well, I didn't. I don't really have a choice. You know, I didn't for a long time. I kind of learned to live with it. You know, because that without getting into too much detail in here, it's just like that. Is what really screwed my head up with my whole situation for a long time. And kept me sick for a long time. So I kind of learned to kind of put it out of my head and just kind of deal with it in my own way. But it works, so. But I mean, it'd be a different story if me and him weren't, didn't have the relationship me and my son did, you know what I mean? It'd be different, if it was if Lakin, was kind of, if me and her weren't on good terms and it was just I wasn't, she wasn't letting me in the picture, you know what I mean? It would be a completely different story at that point, but the way things are now, it's as easy and as good as it's going to get, so I just kind of got to look at it that way.
Yeah, well, it's an adjustment. Like I say, I don't deal well with that kind of stuff. I really don't. I mean, I admit, I guess that's my immaturity at 68 coming out, but I find it very difficult. And it's just the way I am. I try, but I just don't. I give you a lot of credit in that regard, because I don't think I'd handle it quite as well. So, yeah, these conditions are good, man. It's really, really good. Hey, it's 160. Got a good match here. Things are working. I have really thin wire. You saw that copper weld for 160. It's 18 gauge. It's like you can hardly see it out there. It looks like thread.
It's working, man. My match right now is 1.11. Flickering back between there and 1.12 when I'm talking. That's 1 to 2 watts of 1 watt of reflect according to the meter there. So still, this amplifier is holding steady at 150 watts a carrier. It's running nice and cool. Exhaust temps around 180 degrees. No arcing or nothing hot or on fire or anything like that, so it's working good, man. Well, no, it took me a long time. After me and her, back when we first all split and all that crap, man, I had a real hard time dealing with that stuff. Like I said, it took years, 4 or 5 years before I was able to actually, move on, I was able to move on, so it's definitely time has definitely made things easier. W3MMR.
I'm trying to look at the other receiver here. For some reason, hold on a second. Let me see what's what. If you want to see what's going on in the second receiver on here, you have to disable the bandpass filter in order for the signal to come up on 75.
Which one?
No, for the first receiver, BPF1.
Mine's not working.
Alright, the other thing you have to do, make sure under ADC, you've got to DDC ADC 3 has got to be set on ADC 0.
There we go.
Yeah, how about me telling you something for a change?
I know, right? Wait, it's still not working. Hold on a second here. Hold on, let me unkey. Yeah, I'm not seeing nothing on there. Oh, there, I see a little something. But I'm getting this, like, really big carrier on there. On, like, 38, right under the 3890. Or, excuse me, 3900.
Yeah, that's an AMer on there.
No, it can't be. Not what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's an AMer on 90. 3890 is a big one. ADC, ADC 3 to ADC 0. That's got to be up there, number 1. And then you got to turn off the bandpass filter 1. And that'll open up the second receiver to this band, 160.
Where are you seeing? Hold on. I'm seeing a QSO on. $39.30, some sidebanders, but I'm telling you, I got this giant carrier thing. You know, like when you go down to 0.000 all the way at the bottom end of the receiver, and you see the giant carrier. That's what it looks like.
All the way up on 3930, I don't see anything.
I see a sideband QSO on 3930, but this carrier thing I'm seeing is on 3894, 3895.
Well, I'm seeing a big AM QSO with 3890. That's all I see.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. Must have something wacky here. Let me try something else.
I don't know. But you see, you got to mess around. First of all, if you want to use your second receiver on the same antenna, you really got to set DDC 3 to ADC 0 in the ADC menu, or else a lot of times it's going to be blanked out.
Alright, it's working. I think what I'm seeing is an interference because my the noise floor is like around an S2 and it's never that low. And it must be something that's always covered up by my noise floor that I'm seeing. Because I see other QSOs, I see some sideband QSOs going on, but I don't see no AM QSO on 3890. Oh, I see a small carrier there, excuse me. I'm going to send you an email with a screenshot of what I'm seeing.
Okay, but that might be that broadcast station. See, what happens is when you shut those bandpass filters off, it lets everything in. And you may be getting that Chester broadcast station or interference from the broadcast band. It could be anything.
Right, that's true. Yeah, 'cause I even see that little carrier there when I'm transmitting, and or when it, the bandpass filter is engaged too. So I don't know. I just emailed it to you. You should be getting it any second.
Hey, HJK. What's going on?
I can't really hear George. Good evening, George, if you can hear me. W3MMR.
Yeah, George, I hear you. You're not real strong, but I got a good copy on you. W2SDR. George, run your call by me one more time. I'm old and senile. I know your name. I want your call. No, I got you. Just give me a second. I wasn't used to breakers, so I didn't have a pen. I didn't have anything. So, all right, George, I got you here. You're fine. You're Q5 here. S meter readings are kind of erroneous on this band at this time, but you're readable 100%. Perry doesn't hear you. Do you hear Perry, George? Over.
Dixon just called me.
No, he can't hear you, George, unfortunately, so there you go. Your audio sounds fine, George. It sounds like it usually does. It sounds really good. What are you running here? What radio and what antenna here at 160? All right, George, fine. Fine on the end fed, no radials. Well, anyway, so there you go. Thanks for checking in, George. Catch you later, man. Doing a good job. W2SDR. What are you, Perry?
Yeah, W2SDR. Good evening, George. 7-3 to you. Sorry I can't hear you down this way. You're right on my noise level. I can just barely hear some mumbles, but nevertheless, good evening to you. I'm seeing a QSO on 3885 on receiver 2 with no bandpass filters and bypass. And they seem to go away when I put the filters and bypass. And I have my ADC on DDC 3 on ADC 0, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, it's hard to tell what you're hearing. BMC just gave us a call and turned it over to somebody on 85.
Yeah, I can't make out what they're saying, but yeah, but you have another, a 75-meter antenna up there as well too. So mine's tuned for here, and it's hooked up as a long wire, so it's a little different. But I see a carrier, an AM carrier on there, and I could see a minute ago there was somebody much stronger, but when I turn band, and that's with no bandpass filters and bypass, and when I bypass bandpass filter number 1, their signals go away.
Now, I can't, I'm past that point to be figuring out anything at this point. The most I can figure out is push to talk and a volume control.
I got you. Okay. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really use the second receiver ever anyway, so. Anyway, I'm going to get going. I got to call Dixon back. I'm getting tired. I'm thirsty. I'm get something to drink here, so. It's hot in the shack. It's 75 degrees in here. I'm burning up. 43 degrees on the thermometer. Anyway, man, good hearing you. Cool to work you here on 160. And so we've worked on 10, 11, 40, 80, and 160. So, pretty cool. Sounded good, even 20 to 30 over the whole time here, so it's working for you. Take care. W2SDR, W3MMR.
Well, you're 25 over that last transmission, so, way up in the red the whole time, so. All right, man, I'll talk to you. Well, don't forget DMR. We worked on DMR. So, I'll catch you later. 7-3, W2SDR clear with W3MMR. 7-3.
That's right, and DMR. And 7-3 to you, George, if you're out there listening. And anyone else who may be on frequency. Take care. W2SDR, W2PHL. This is W3MMR, Southeastern Pennsylvania, in the beautiful city of Chester. We'll see you.
Wait a minute, Perry. There might be somebody breaking in. Is there a breaker? Go ahead. Well, that's okay. He's signing out. We're signing out anyway, Phil. So, George was in here too, HJK, so maybe you could work him. I don't know if he's still there or not. WB2HJK, but we're signing out. 7-3s, Phil. We'll see you. Okay, see you later, George. 7-3 and 7-3 to you, Phil and Perry. W2SDR.
7-3, Phil. Take care. I'm out like shout. W3MMR clear.